Welcome back. As we continue to get closer to Election Day, there are some decisions to be made that don't always get talked about quite as often. The down ticket races. Ron, is there anyone in particular that sparks your interest further down the ticket?
I'm intrigued with the school board. I'm watching the school board very closely. There's been times that I think that we should go back to an appointed school board because personalities are getting in the way of educating our kids. And I'm of the firm belief that there are too many school teachers on the elected school board. I think that when school teachers when they bring their problems to the table, dealing with the superintendent or dealing with staff, that it's counterproductive to a good education for our children. And as we go forward, I would almost like to even see it entertained where if you had to be out of the school system for a period of time before you could even run. And maybe not even then. I didn't like it when we started it. And that goes the whole way across the gamut. There's good people that are teachers that are there now. There are good people, but they still bring baggage to the table, and it seems like it's a vendetta against the superintendent. That is not healthy.
No, and I think you're bringing up a good point, which is ultimately there are plenty, we have plenty of checks and balances on the local level. So does every position need to be elected? Do you need to elect every single functionary in whatever position? Probably not.
The reality is that this superintendent and all superintendents should be judged by the success of our students. And I know that there's a lot of debate now about standardized tests and how well that measures success, but however we measure that success, I think that's where we need to be. I mean, technology, he is certainly big into technology as a technology person. I'm down with that. Can we go overboard? Probably. Are we there yet? I don't know. Probably not, in my opinion. I like the idea of one-to-one relationship of devices to students.
Well, and that's going to be the reality going forward in the world.
From a school board perspective, Ron, I completely agree with you. I think the thought process of an appointed school board is something we should revisit as a community. Because like you, I am concerned, and I won't say that I think there are too many or too few of any particular group on the school board. What I do know is you need a mix. You need the business person, you need maybe the retired school teacher, but I don't want a retired school teacher that is a one-trick pony. I don't want somebody that, as you suggest, brings their personal vendetta and I'm going to get the superintendent fired, or I'm going to change this, or I'm going to change that, and that's all they have to add to the conversation. And unfortunately, we've had that before.
Well, you know, over the last, 25 years, there was a point in time where I was known as the person that developed the comment, get the wealth out of Commonwealth. And it was, you notice they are gone now. They're down at the Downsville Pike. But there was a lot of gnashing of teeth and accountability back in the day, which was definitely a problem. I don't see that problem anymore. I see the last two superintendents in our school system being productive, being well educated, looking out for our kids, and really trying to do a good job. And I'm talking Betty Morgan and Clayton Wilcox.
Well, and they both pushed the envelope. Let's face it, they have. Betty pushed the envelope in many ways, not the least of which was the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts. How's that worked out for us so far? In my mind, pretty well.
Darn well.
Yes.
Dr. Wilcox has pushed the envelope on technology. How's that working out for us? Well, we don't know yet. We're early on, and there are probably some older teachers and some teachers that are not as technology savvy that are concerned with the decision. But I think that long term, I think the history books will look favorably upon what we've done from a technology standpoint. And we have a history in this county of doing that. We were one of the first counties, if not the first county in Maryland, to do instructional television way back in the 60s or so.
Do you know I was in the first class with Sarah Zengi, and I wanted to say this building, but it wasn't this. It was at Commonwealth Avenue. Sarah Zengi was the teacher. I was in the first one, and my topic was Jim Thorpe.
All right.
And we talked about it, and that was broadcast into the rooms of the schools over the county, and it was quite an educational experience for for a kid to be able to go to the Board of Education, be on live TV, out into the classroom.
So I got to say, there's one other race that is intriguing to me at this point, and that's the congressional race with Ami Hober versus John Delaney. And I got to tell you, and I'm a registered Republican, but I've not been really upset with what John Delaney's done.
John Delaney has done wonderful things, and people from across the spectrum will tell you that. So I think, to me, and I think this is going to be proven in November, Ami Hober is a non-starter, and she's going nowhere.
I don't know that I agree with that. I got to tell you, at this point, I'm still in the Delaney camp, subject to change, because quite frankly, I've still got some research to do there as well. But that's going to be a tough race, I think. I think tougher than what some people think. I think, you know, we talk about the down races and how they're, the down tickets and how they're affected by the top of the ticket, the Trump versus Hillary
Well,
Clinton.
I think the last race was a down race. In the last race when we had Obama and O'Malley, because I ran in that race. I couldn't have won that day, and I ran a relatively very open campaign with a lot of, everywhere. I could not win that day because I was a Democrat.
And you know what
I don't
killed
see
you?
that this time.
Martin O'Malley.
Yeah.
Because I think he was a poison pill to a lot of people.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that. And I don't see that this time. I really don't see that affecting us.
Look,
Well, I think the last two races have actually been that way because, quite frankly, back in 2012, was it 12 or 10? 12. When Brian Poffenberger ran for delegate, that was another year that I think it wasn't good to be a Democrat.
Look, I mean, all those things being said, and you're thinking in a Washington County perspective, I don't think that there are enough people who are going to vote for a Tea Partier in the congressional district to support Ami Hober.
And I think that is the big issue is the way the congressional district's laid out. It is very hard in Congressional District 6 because of the way it meanders to get a Republican in office.
I think you meant to say a Democrat in office.
No, a Republican in office.
We don't have enough time to keep debating that, so we'll just end it there. Up next, Fast Five. Please stay tuned.